today we are going to answer all of your questions about my crowns and wigs. So I'm sort of calling this Wig 101. So if you have been interested in why I'm wearing them, how I wear them, all the things, then stick around because we're going to get into it. All right, I'm just going to try to do this as rapid fire as possible. This is sort of kind of going to be a Q&A of things that you guys have asked, and I'm going to try to answer. So the first question, have I been wearing wigs? I've been wearing wigs because I suffered from extreme hair loss as a result of very, very rapid weight loss. It had nothing to do with the drugs or medicine that I was taking to assist me in that weight loss. It is simply a function of rapid weight loss. It can happen to anyone. It happens to somebody who has gastric bypass or any kind of bariatric surgery. If you are losing weight at a very rapid pace, you are most likely going to experience hair loss. Your body basically goes into shock and it just starts shedding hair. It basically puts the shedding phase kind of on hyperdrive and it just doesn't get out of that phase until your weight loss really slows down and steadies, and then you start getting back into your normal hair cycle pattern. So that is why I've been wearing wigs. But you know what, guys? There are so many people out there that wear wigs for absolutely no medical reason, no hair loss reason. They simply just don't want to do their hair. And I'm going to kind of talk about some of the benefits to wearing wigs as we go, get farther into the questions. Number 2, what are the different types of hair or the types of wigs? So there are essentially 3 types of hair or wigs on the market. There are human hair wigs, which are just what they sound like. They are made from human hair. You can get human hair from India, from Europe, there's Slavic hair, there's Brazilian hair, there's all sorts of different types of human hair, and kind of depends on what you're looking for and maybe the texture of your normal bio hair, what you might want to go with. And obviously human hair wigs are much more expensive. And then there are synthetic wigs, and synthetic wigs are basically broken up into 2 different types. There are non-heat friendly synthetic wigs, and then there are heat friendly synthetic wigs. And pretty much you kind of get it from the name, right? A non-heat friendly synthetic wig means that whatever the style of the hair is that the wig comes in, that cannot be changed. If it comes with a slight wave to it, when you wash it and you dry it, it's going to come back and that same wave will be there. You can't change the shape of the hair on a non-heat friendly synthetic wig. One of the bonuses to a non-heat friendly synthetic wig is my understanding, I don't have any, is that they tend not to tangle as much as a heat friendly synthetic fiber. So a heat friendly synthetic fiber is, again, just what it sounds like. It is heat friendly, which means that you can apply heat to it to either smooth down that frizziness that happens sometimes as the friction of the fibers on what you're wearing, etc., can make it tangle or mat a little bit, but that's very easy to correct with heat. You actually want to use heat. And you can also change the shape. So you could get a perfectly straight crown or wig in heat-friendly synthetic fiber, and you can curl it and you can change it. The difference between human hair and synthetic hair as far as styling it is that you use heat to change the style, but it's the process of cooling in that new pattern, that new style, that actually sets it. So yes, you can curl it, but if you just let it drop and you don't cool it in that new type of style, it won't stay. So you can get, and again, this comes to the benefit, you could be out in the pouring rain in a heat synthetic friendly wig, or actually just a synthetic wig too, and your hair could be soaked, and when you dry that hair, it will look just like it was when you stepped, out of a salon, as they would say. It does not change, which is amazing. Question number 3, what are the different types of cap styles? Now there are a lot of different cap styles, and a lot of these I don't have, guys, so I can't even show you, but I'm just gonna kind of go over some of the basics. So the most basic cap you can have is what is called a basic cap or a hard front wig. And it basically means that there is no lace, that the whole front of the wig is just the cap. So on those kind of caps, you really probably want some bangs because you don't want to see that hard front, right? Because, you know, your hair doesn't just like rainbow over your forehead, right? We all have little things that, you know, come a little bit forward and a little bit farther back and maybe a widow's peak or whatever. And so basic caps have their place. Like I said, if you have a wig that has bangs, a basic hard front cap is great because you don't care what the hairline looks like. The next sort of most common is something that's called a lace front wig, and it's just what it sounds like, right? So the front or the hairline of the wig is tied onto lace, which is basically translucent, and so the lace really kind of blends into your skin tone, and then the fibers or the, you know, the synthetic hair is, or human hair, is sewn into that lace, you know, sort of either individually or by two, and it creates a much more natural view. There are also some things that are called monofilament tops. That's more of a mesh, and again, comes with a little bit more of a scalp-like appearance. The lace does that as well, so, you know, you want lace wherever you're gonna part, in a sense, your hair. So, you know, that gets into other types of caps, whether it's, you know, a T part where it's just lace in a T, so you can only part it wherever that T is. You don't have any free parting space, that kind of thing. And I talked about this in my top 10 wig video, so I will have that linked below, and I show the different insides of caps. But those are kind of the basic things. There are also things that you want to talk about. There are wigs that are hand tied, which means that either part or all of the wig is actually hand sewn by, you know, an individual, as opposed to having wefts in your wig. So, you know, just like when we talk about extensions and you have wefts, a lot of times you'll see, especially in synthetic wigs, is you'll have some lace or monofilament up here, but the whole rest of the cap will be in wefts, which basically means they take rows of hair, machine sewn, and, you know, sew them kind of, like I said, in rows around the cap. There are also different kinds of caps. You can have a closed weft cap, or you can have an open weft. And basically that just comes down to whether you can stick like your fingers through it or not. And that tends to have a little more breathability. So, you know, maybe in the summer you want to lean more towards an open wefted cap as opposed to a closed wefted cap. But again, those are all things that you just, it's kind of personal preference and what you want. The other probably under thing to understand is that when you have a machine sewn wefts or part of the cap, sometimes you can have what they call permatees, which is basically like short little hairs that are sewn into the wefts that create volume in the hair, permanent volume, like you can't really do much about it. I'm personally not a big permatease person. I mean, again, I think there's a time and a place for it. Sometimes you'll find it maybe like back on the nape of the neck or down at the bottom, but I think more you see it in like shorter styles, just to, like I said, kind of create that volume. I personally don't really like that look, so I've never owned a wig that has permatease, but it's something that you should be aware of. One of the biggest questions I get is, how do you keep the wigs on, right? Because these are actually glueless wigs. So here are some of the things that I use in addition to, I'll show you sort of the inside of some of these, of a cap, to show you some things that also aid in keeping a wig on. So you can wear just a wig grip. So this is one that I have. I don't really wear this one anymore because I don't happen to like it being wide all the way around. But basically there is velvet on here, and the wrong way of the velvet essentially keeps the wig from sliding back. So there are wig grips like this. This is the one that I generally wear, which is again, it's a lace front here. And then I happen to like this because it's just a thin band that goes around the back of your head. So this is kind of my preference. Sometimes, especially if I'm doing like a try on of a bunch of different wigs, I will wear a wig cap grip combo. So this is a combination of a wig cap that then also has the, you can see all this lace here, and it's got the velvet here, which helps the wig from, like I said, keep it from sliding around. So I don't generally wear this one. Probably what I wear the most is this, although I have to say, over the last few days, I haven't been wearing any of them. And you guys, my wigs don't go anywhere, but that's kind of one of the biggest things. The other thing is that many of the wigs I have come with this additional strap in them. Again, I take these out. I don't wear them because I don't like having that extra, another wide thing at the base of my neck, but some people swear by these and they love them. But it has an adjuster so you can make it, tighter or looser. And then pretty much all wigs will come with these additional like combs. So you have two combs here that sit, by the temple. I would highly recommend, if you're going to use those, that you make sure that you're wearing either a wig cap or a wig grip or something that you can tuck it under that, as opposed to tucking it into your bio hair. I don't think that that's a good idea. Frankly, I don't use these combs at all, except for this one in the back, which I do tuck underneath like my ponytail. So let me show you how, because I think a lot of people have a question of how do you put a wig on? So basically all I do is I take my bio hair. If you have a lot of bio hair, you might want to braid it so that it can be, as flat as possible under your wig. Some people wear the nylon caps. Most wigs, I would say any wig that I've ever gotten, have come with like a 2-pack of those nylon wig caps. I am not a fan, but if you like them and they make you feel more comfortable, or they help, like I said, you keep your bio hair in place, they're great. I just don't happen to like them. So anyway, I will, for this particular case, use this wig grip. This particular one has a little thing here that tells me that this is supposed to go on the right side and it's supposed to go down. So that just helps you know which direction that, the velvet is going in the right direction. So basically I just, put this on and then slide this back. So it's just kind of, sitting just like a headband, okay? Now, this particular crown, this is actually one of just a couple that I have that are not from Chelsea Smith crowns. And you can see this does have a lace front here, and it does have a pre-parted space. There's a little bit of space here that you can play with. And this is what I was talking about. This is an open wefted cap. So you see how I can stick my fingers through here? So they're sewn by a machine in wefts, but this part of the cap is open, so it's a little more ventilated. So here's how you put on a wig. You basically hold it by the nape, okay, by the nape of the wig. And let me kind of turn here so you can see. You basically, I've never put on a swim cap, but I've heard some people say that it's kind of similar. You basically put your forehead in the front, okay, where your hairline is essentially, and you kind of dive into it. So you basically hold it by the back and stick your head in like so, and then you just pull it back. And then all I'm gonna do is I sort of twist my ponytail and kind of stick it up under there. And then I take it and put it down over and then come up. And then you want to adjust your hairline and adjust kind of the forehead, right? So It's hard for me to do this in the viewfinder because I can't really see what I'm doing. But yeah, that is essentially how you do it. Pretty simple. Not much to it at all. Like I said, this particular one, I don't think has, it has a comb in the back now that I'm thinking about it. So this one actually, yeah, it has no combs at all, but it fits really well on my head. And yeah, I love this one. This one is by, and you can see the parting here. So do you see how it's not like perfect? And you know, because most people's hairlines are not perfect, or parts for that matter, right? There's, you know, it's a little wavy, or it's not completely filled in. You know, we don't have that much density, but that needs to be back a little bit. They tend to say that like the average forehead is a 4-finger rule, so that if you put your hand at the top of your eyebrows, that's where your hairline should be. But obviously some people have smaller foreheads, some people have larger. So you just kind of want to match it up to your hairline. Okay, so so you know, I just adjusted it. I realized that I hadn't like centered it on my head. So you just basically take these ear tabs that are on the side and just like I said, make sure that it's sitting in the right spot. So there you go. That's how you put on a wig. It is super simple and easy. All right, next question. Is it hard to get hair into the cap? I don't think so. I just showed you, like I said, obviously if you have more bio hair, you want to probably braid it so that it's more easily able to go into either a wig cap. I also do think that if you do have quite a bit of bio hair, that it would be easier to wear an actual cap, whether it be, you know, this kind of cap grip combo, or just one of the nylon, you know, like pantyhose. They're literally like nylons, like pantyhose, guys. Wig cap, and then that will help kind of control your hair underneath the crown. Next question, do caps come with wigs? Yes, like I said, pretty much every wig that I have ever ordered, whether it be like this is a Belle Tress one that I got from a different company, but the brand is Belle Tress. They all come with those nylon wig caps. So if you run out, you could always go onto Amazon, but I have a plethora of them, and yeah, I have more than I would ever need because like I said, I don't wear them. Next question, have I thought about buying a human hair wig? So here's the deal. A good quality human hair wig is probably going to run you minimum $1,500, upwards of $3,000. And while yes, I have been thinking about investing in one, and there is one that I actually have in a cart, potentially ready to check out, but I love the variety that I have. And my fear is that by spending that much money on a human hair wig, that I'm going to feel compelled to wear that, and to wear that a lot. It's kind of no different than buying a luxury bag, right? Once you kind of go the luxury bag route, you're more inclined to use that bag because you want to get the cost per wear down. And so you kind of stop wearing your maybe contemporary designer bags, like, right? If you had a Coach bag in your closet or in your collection, and then you get, you know, a Chanel bag, you're probably going to wear that Chanel bag a lot more than the Coach, just because you want to get the cost per wear out of it. I kind of feel like a human hair wig may be the same. And so I'm, like I said, a little bit concerned about that. And in addition to just feeling like I should wear it because it was expensive and the cost per wear, I just, like I said, I love the variety of all of the synthetic wigs that I have. I love having something like this, which is much more natural and a very light density, and something that, you know, very much looks like my bio hair, and especially when I had extensions. But I love the fact that I can put on a short bob, or that I can put on a super curly wig, or I can put on a blonde, or I can put one that, you know, comes down almost to my waist. I mean, it's just so much variety, and I really love that. And like I said, I just worry that I may not be as willing to wear those other wigs once I got a human hair wig. But I think they're fantastic. And like I said, I have been looking into them. You know, you can spend upwards of $10,000 on a human hair wig. I am not going to be spending that. All right, next question. Do I worry that my wig will come off? You guys, I can shake my head around. Here's this is not coming off of my head. I mean, and like I said, this has absolutely no combs, no anything. It has some adjusters in the back to like help cinch in the wig if it was maybe a little bit big on your head. But, you know, aside from wearing that wig grip, nothing, there's no combs, no anything. This wig is not going anywhere. I have absolutely no concerns about one of my wigs coming off. Next question, do they get staticky? I haven't experienced that at all. You know, obviously as we get into winter and there's more dry heat around, which is when you typically tend to see just more static in general, right, in the air, maybe I will. So, you know, I'll give you an update if I find that that's happening, but at least as of now, which I'm filming this in November, I haven't experienced any static. Again, kind of going to comfort, are they hot? Now, I have not worn these in the dead heat of summer, so I probably can't give you a completely honest answer, but for me, I would say no. I don't really have an issue with the heat of them. I have certainly worn them when it has been hotter outside, because we've certainly, when I started wearing these, I've had some hotter days, even though we were getting into fall. But again, I'm used to wearing, right, wearing a lot of hair. I've been wearing extensions for years and years and years. So I'm used to having a lot of volume of hair on my head. So for me, I would say no. Next question, do they itch? I would say in general, no. This particular one, I feel like this lace is not quite as soft. It doesn't itch, but it feels a little rougher to me, but it doesn't itch by any means. So yeah, I wouldn't say that they itch. And all my other ones, you know, all the Chelsea Smith Crown ones the lace is super, super soft, and it doesn't irritate my skin or anything like that. So yeah, no, I don't feel like they itch at all. Are they comfortable? You know, I think like anything, and just like extensions, it takes a little while to get used to wearing them. One, it takes time to get used to you seeing yourself in them, right? Especially if you are someone who is dealing with hair loss, and so you haven't seen yourself with more hair in a long time. But, you know, it does take some getting used to wearing them. Like I said, it was probably an easier transition for me because I'm used to feeling that excess weight and that excess bulk of something that's on my head, and having something that is foreign, if you want to call it that, you know, attached to my head. And let me tell you, when you first get your extensions installed, like, it is painful. That first night when you sleep, because it's so tightly sewn right up against your scalp. I mean, it's not sewn to your scalp, guys, but I'm just saying it's so tight. Like every time I would get a new set of extensions put in, or when they would move them up, oh my gosh, the headache that night was crazy. But like anything, you just kind of get used to it. So again, I'm not going to say that like you're going to put it on and you are not going to know that that you have something on your head, and that you know, it's going to feel weird, because it is weird to begin with. But I think the longer you wear them, you just kind of get used to how they feel, and it just becomes normal. Do I worry about people knowing that I'm wearing a wig? No, I really don't. And, you know, I have some pretty fun colors, and, you know, clearly I'm not changing my hair every day. I mean, I sometimes wonder, like when I go downstairs and, you know, the front desk staff or my doorman or whatever sees me, and like yesterday I was a redhead, and then tomorrow I go down and I'm blonde, like, are they sort of like, that's odd? But yeah, no, honestly, you guys, I don't think it's, first of all, I don't think it's anybody's business. And to me, these things are fashion accessories, right? I mean, think about all of the things that we wear or we use or we do to somehow change our appearance that have become extremely mainstream. False eyelashes, which, I happen to be wearing now, but like eyelash extensions. I used to wear eyelash extensions all the time. I stopped doing it when we moved here just because it was an added expense that I didn't really feel the need to try to keep doing, but I loved eyelash extensions. You have your nails done, you get tips put on, you do whatever, you get Botox, you get lip injections, you get fake boobs. You guys, there's so many things that we do. You get microbladed eyebrows. I just think things are popping in my head as I'm talking about this. But I think we need to normalize this a little more. And I think we've done a good job of that when it comes to hair extensions. I think we know now that, pretty much every celebrity on the planet wears hair extensions. And like I said, I think it's become much more normalized that you can kind of assume that when you see somebody with just an amazing, beautiful, voluminous hair, that person has hair extensions. Like I remember I used to follow this woman on Instagram, and I'm blanking on her name right now. And I just was like, oh my God, she has the most gorgeous, gorgeous hair. And I never ever heard her talk about hair extensions and, if she whatever. And so I just assumed that was her natural hair. Well, I've come to find out like 5 years later when I kind of stopped following her and then I started following her again. She 100% wears hair extensions. Like I had no idea. Anyway, I think we've really, like I said, kind of normalized that. And I don't see wigs as any different. It is just hair you wear, right? When I wore extensions, and I was happy to tell anybody that I wore extensions, like I didn't try to hide it or anything. And frankly, I feel the same way about wigs. Like, and especially because my hair changes now when I see people, now when I see a friend of mine that I haven't seen in a while, and they're like, oh, hey, your hair looks great. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm wearing wigs because I'm experiencing a lot of hair loss and it just, I just didn't like it. And so now I'm wearing wigs and I love it because you see me like this today, but if I saw you tomorrow, I might be a blonde or I might be a redhead or I might have a little pixie cut and the next day it'll be like this again. Like I just think it's so much fun. And, I'm sure that some people are very self-conscious about it and I wish and would hope that you would not be. And I think you just, like I said, need to kind of get comfortable with it. And then, like I said, just rock it. And as far as like hairlines and things are concerned, you guys, most people you talk to are at a distance of what you are in the camera to me right now, right? You're not, if I come up, elbow distance away. Even up there, I think this hairline looks absolutely fantastic, and anybody who's that close to you or closer, they probably know you're wearing a wig, right? They're somebody who is very close to you in life, right? But in general, if you're just talking to somebody or if you're on a Zoom call, you're probably, like I said, this far away, you would have absolutely no idea that I was wearing a wig. Last couple questions. The first one is, how do you take care of them? So a human hair wig, you can obviously use human hair products on, but if you are wearing like this, a synthetic wig, you need to use products that are specific to synthetic wigs. So that's just something that you want to be aware of. You want to get, specific shampoo and conditioner. When you take care of them, when you wash them in cool water because again, heat will change the shape of the fiber. And so then if it dries or cools in that different shape, you're going to change the shape. So you want to wash it in cool water because that won't change the shape of the fibers. You want to make sure that you brush it out after every wearing. The other thing you want to do, especially if it's a longer crown like this, is I generally carry a a small, it's about this big, but a wide tooth comb that I just carry in my purse. It's always with me. And that way you can just kind of, especially at the nape of the neck, just kind of run it through, you know, maybe once an hour, every couple hours or whatever, if you're out and about, and that will help with the tangling. But you definitely want to, when you take it off at the end of the night or whenever you take it off during the day, to brush it out, make sure all the tangles have gotten out. You always want to start, just like your bio hair, from the bottom up, right? You never want to start up here and come down, because you're just going to rip those tangles and you're going to damage your hair and, you know, cause your hair to break. It's no different with synthetic hair or a human hair wig. You always want to start at the bottom and work your way up. You really only need to wash wigs like every 15 to 20 wears. So honestly, I've not washed any of my wigs because I have so many that I just am rotating through. It's kind of like my bags to me, guys. You know, when you talk to some of us in the luxury community that have quite a large collection of luxury bags, we're in a privileged situation where, you know, I probably don't see as much wear and tear on a bag as somebody who only had one luxury bag, right? Because they're going to be using that bag day in and day out, as opposed to, you know, me or somebody else who may have 20, 30, 40, 50. And so, you know, they're only using a bag 4 times a year or something, right? It's the same with these, because I don't wear them every single day, the same one. I haven't had to go ahead and wash any of them. The other thing, like I said, is that especially on a heat synthetic fiber, you do find more sort of frizzing and potentially matting, again, because heat-friendly fibers don't like friction. So a lot of times you will then find kind of ends getting a little bit frazzled and frizzy. And the way you treat that is actually with heat. So all you do is just kind of spritz the ends with water. And then, yes, it's going to sizzle, but it's just fine. And the heat is actually good for these fibers. You then just want to either take like a flat iron or a heat comb, which I would highly recommend if you were going to be getting into wigs, that you buy a heat comb. Again, Amazon, like $15 or something, and you just put the heat through the ends, and that reseals the fibers so that they're then soft and silky again, and they're not all frazzled and frizzy. It's kind of like being able to seal like a split end on you know, like your bio hair. It's the same kind of concept, I guess, is my point. And so you just are basically resealing those fibers with the heat. So they're actually super easy to maintain and take care of. And then the final question is a question that I kind of have already touched on a little bit, and that is, can you restyle a wig? And like I said, that depends on whether it is if you're talking about synthetic wigs, whether it is heat friendly or not heat friendly. If you have a not heat friendly synthetic wig, then no, you cannot restyle it. I mean, except for like cutting it and giving it a different style. But whatever, you know, so this one has, you know, kind of these loose kind of, you know, second day blowout kind of look waves. If this were a not heat friendly synthetic wig, when I washed it, or when I did, I cannot change the way this looks. However, this is a heat-friendly synthetic fiber, so I could 100% take my flat iron and straighten through these and have a completely straight wig. It would just, I want to make sure that it cools in that straight, you know, position. So I would probably go through it with my flat iron and hold it like this so that it would hold it and cool in this position, and then this fiber would stay that way. Obviously it's not, because like I said, it hasn't been heated and cooled. But like I said, when you wash your wigs, so long as that you wash them in a cold temperature or cool temperature, they're not going to change the style, which is one of the things, by the way, that I love about wearing wigs, is you have a great hair day every single day. And like I said, I can go out in the rain, I can go out in the snow, and all of this hair can get wet. And when it dries, it's gonna look just like this. It is not gonna get frizzy. So for those of you who live in Houston or Florida or wherever in a subtropical climate where you have humidity like crazy, these wigs don't frizz. So for me, my bio hair, the second I go out into humidity, it is Frizzball City. I can go out, and I have been out in these wigs when it's been humid and also when they've gotten wet. And literally, they just look, like I said, like I stepped out of the salon. So for that alone, I think that wigs are fantastic. So like I said, even if you are not experiencing hair loss, or you just don't even like your bio hair, maybe you love your bio hair, but you just, like I said, want to always have a great hair day, get a wig. So that's it, guys. I hope you have enjoyed and learned something during our Wig 101 session. If you have other questions that I have not answered, then please leave them in the comment section below. I'd be happy to try to help as best I can. Like I said, I am loving wearing them. I think they are fantastic. Maybe they're not for everybody, but I absolutely love them. And like I said, I think we just need to do a better job of normalizing them, just like we do hair extensions and all of the other things that we do to create a different look. If you enjoyed this video, I would love it if you give it a thumbs up. It does help the algorithm. And if you enjoy this kind of content, or whether you're on my luxury channel or whether you're on my kind of fitness, wellness, health journey channel, I would love to see you back here. So click the subscribe button and the notification bell, and that way you'll know every time I upload a video. If you have not seen enough of me yet, there'll be another video over in the corner here for you to watch. And wherever you are, I hope you are having an amazing day or evening. And I will catch you in the next one.